All right, everybody. So we got to do some notes. Solving by factoring. Go ahead and attempt the warm up. All right, let's go ahead and let's go over the warm up. So both of these types of problems were actually problems that were on your test most recently. Part A, factor. That's what all the test was mostly over, was how to factor. X squared minus 24 plus 5x. All right, what multiplies to give me 24 but adds up to give me, and specifically negative 24, but adds up to give me 5? All right, well, 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. That's just, those are my factors for 24. Well, I need a negative 24, and I need to add up to 5. I make 1 negative, that gives me 23, not what I want. Make 2 negative, that gives me 10, not what I want. I make 3 negative, that makes positive 5, which means that is the pair I want. Negative 3x, positive 8x, giving me the answer x plus 8, x minus 3. So final answer is x plus 3, x plus 8. All right, let's move on to the second problem here, where they told you to solve for x. Hey, this is a review of what we learned at the very beginning of the year, something that was just on your test. Let's go ahead and let's review. Hopefully your first step is distribute. 4x plus 8 equals negative 24. From there, move your constants all to one side, and you get 4x equals negative 32. Divide everything by 4, because we're trying to get x alone, and you get x equals negative 8. Now, the reason we bring both of these two things up is because we're going to take these two things and actually combine them together. And that's what we're learning about today. All right. So what is solve by factoring? Well, when I'm solving quadratics by factoring, what I'm doing actually is I'm solving for my zeros. I'm finding my x-intercepts. So this factoring that we've been doing, after we get our two factors, a way for us to be able to find our x-intercepts is to take both of those factors and set them equal to 0. X plus 8 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0, and solve them both for x. When I do that, that will give me both my x-intercepts. Subtract 8, and I get x equals negative 8. Add 3, and I get x equals positive 3. So my two zeros are negative 8, 0, and 3, 0. All right, pause the video. Why don't you guys try the first one? All right, so the good news on these is that they are already factored for us. All we have to do is find what the x-intercepts are. So x minus 5 equals 0, 3x minus 1 equals 0. And again, we're just solving for x on both of these. Add 5 to both sides, I get x equals 5. So that one is 5, 0. The one on the right, I got plus 1 to both sides. 3x equals 1 divided by 3, x equals 1/3. So 1/3, 0. All right. Now the second one I see I have a greatest common factor, but I'm actually not going to change anything at all in my solving steps. I'm still going to just set the two parts in the parentheses equal to 0. And solve those both for x. Most of you are hopefully already figuring out, well, I don't always have to actually write this out. if you want the steps, that would be the reason to actually write this completely out. But notice, I had a positive 2, my x-intercept ended up being a negative 2. I had a positive 4, my x-intercept ended up being negative 4. And it happened each time when x had a coefficient of 1. However, back on this other example, when x had a coefficient of positive 3, yes, I had a negative 1 here, I ended up with a positive x-intercept. But I have to pay attention to that this is a 3, and I'm going to have to divide that 1 by 3 in the very end. Now, majority of the time, not always are we going to have the factors already factored for us. We are going to actually have to factor the quadratics. So go ahead, pause the video and factor this first quadratic. All right. X squared minus 20 minus 8x. All right, so there's what my two factors end up being after I factor this out. Now, go ahead and solve for my x. On this one, it'll end up being positive 10. On the second one, it'll end up being negative 2. So 10 comma 0, negative 2 comma 0 are my two x-intercepts. All right, why don't you pause the video and try the next one. All right, so here's what you should have got on number 4. Let's go ahead and find out what these two factors get for solutions. 2x minus 3 equals 0. X plus 5 equals 0. The one on the right is going to be x equals negative 5. The one on the left is going to be 2x equals positive 3, and x equals 3 halves. So my solutions on these, my zeros are going to be 3 halves comma 0 and negative 5 comma 0. All right, so the height of Wendy on a diving board can be modeled by the equation h equals negative 4 t plus 5 t minus 3, where h is the height in feet and t is the time in seconds. Find the time it takes for the diver to reach the water. So we're trying to find t, we're trying to find time. So let's go ahead and solve both of these. How do I solve them? Set both parts in parentheses equal to 0. 4t plus 5 equals 0, t minus 3 equals 0. The one on the right, t equals positive 3. The one on the left, I'm going to get 4, t equals negative 5, where t equals negative 5 fourths. Well, they want to know, find the time it takes for the diver to reach the water. Well, I can't have negative time, which is why that answer won't be right. The answer is going to be 3 seconds. All right. Go ahead, pause the video, see if you can figure this one out. All right, so on this one, I noticed there was a GCF at the very beginning, so I went ahead and factored everything by 16. And I factored it actually by negative 16, in particularly because I wanted t squared to be positive. So I made that change when I took my GCF out. So when I did that, I was left with t squared minus t minus 2. Put that in my box, and I ended up with t plus 1, t minus 2. So let's go ahead and see what each of these answers are. T minus 2 equals 0, t plus 1 equals 0. So on this one, t equals 2, t equals -1. And again, they're asking how long will the ball be in the air? Well, we can't have negative time, so the ball's going to be in the air 2 seconds. All right, guys, that's it for today.